Yo, yo, yo. Hey, welcome back to the channel. I am still a little under the weather. I feel better, but I'm still really congested. The cough is a little bit less than it was before, but I'm just like congested like at night and in the morning, dude. It's like I have like tissue paper just stuck in my nasal cavity or something. It's very frustrating, but here we are. I'm making this video late, but making it nonetheless because obviously tomorrow is a really big day, right? CPI report comes out tomorrow, followed by FOMC, where the Fed talks about their plans as far as raising rates and everything like that goes on December the 14th. Excuse me. And so, yeah, let's talk about it. Whenever we talked last, I told you guys that I was looking for a bullish reaction, and generally speaking, I was bullish going into the test of this line, this trend line here. I don't know if we made a video Friday, but we definitely made one Thursday. And that's exactly what occurred. Going into here, you can see that obviously we have the trend line that was drawn from back here to here. Obviously, you got a clean bounce right off of it here at this 392, 392.50 kind of area. And you bounced right off. Today you had a really big day for bulls, and I had calls throughout this entire process. I actually ended up trimming down and repositioning into a more aggressive, like call position where I had more contracts because I'm aiming for a higher price, but relatively lower risk because today I had enough profits. I had 406 calls for the 15th, and I had enough profits today where I was like, I'm not, I don't want to swing this whole position, whatever. So I was like, and I mean, I was happy with the profit. So I was like, look, let me take some of this profit. The trade idea worked really well for us, and if we see bullish continuation, I want to be a part of it too. So what I did was I chopped that down, went to like 410, 415-ish range, a little bit further dates out. Well, and I had some close dates and some further dates. But anyway, because I do still see the bullish case here. Now, I will say that let's talk about like what is, so I'm planning for like a bullish outcome for this week, okay? Going into today and over the weekend, everybody and their mom was a super bear. They were talking about how obviously we're gonna break, this is a bear flag or whatever. We're obviously, we're outside of this rising wedge that was up here, right? And they're not looking, bears are ignoring this trend line completely. And I mean, obviously bears just got demolished today. SPY up 1.4%. So, and me, look, I will say this. My instincts, I'll call it, my instincts are like, when you have a really big green day going into a meeting like this, the alarms start going off a little bit, right? And that was part of why I was repositioning, I'll admit. But I'm kind of thinking, this is a bull trap or whatever. But I still see, for me, the sentiment is still incredibly bearish. I know that there's more bulls today than there were over the weekend, but there were no bulls. No bulls over the weekend. I didn't see any. It was all, oh yeah, I mean, SPY's going to 380, so we'll figure out what happens from there, And so now people are starting to get a little bit more bullish momentum. I think that what's going to occur here, excuse me, is ultimately what you're going to see as a bear trap, and it's pretty much the same kind of call that we were looking at, which is you kind of ride up within the structure and then you dump out here is kind of the likelihood. I'm willing to change my mind, I mean, obviously, dude, Powell could come out Wednesday and absolutely, he could just go, hey, we're done. We're going to be done hiking rates by June next year, and you could see an absolute crazy breakout. And we'll still, play the market balance. We're not just going to jump in year away calls and then just ride those at this point in the game. But that's certainly a possibility, and also a crash off of this stuff. Okay, and I'm not hedging. I'm not saying that if this happens, I'm right too. I still am locally bullish up here until all of these events are over. But that is certainly a possibility. Like, they could come out tomorrow and say that inflation is higher than expected, and this thing can absolutely tank. I mean, in a few days, you'll see it at 360, right? I mean, it could be crazy and bad. All right, so let's talk about, right now, what I'm looking at futures, right? Excuse me. I'm looking at futures, and let me just make sure the chart is somewhat similar. You did have a breakout off of this downtrend. I don't have that drawn on the SPY chart, but it is also there today, right? And I know that people will say that the reason that it broke, the reason that we had that run towards the end of the day where it was just, it was basically parabolic the last hour of the day, was JP Morgan estimates got leaked or something like that. But it was just a breakout of this downtrend. As we were saying, you have this accumulative structure that's developing here along this trend line. I've said it. I must have said that 1,000 times at this point. And everybody on Twitter is just like, nah, dude, it's bear flag, bro. It's bear flag. I'm just like, okay, dude. Whatever you want to believe. And it could still play out as a bear flag, but that's just not how I see the pattern. I'm not trying to sound like an asshole or anything like that. I guess we should go to ESH. Let's go to the new contract. Okay, this should be fine. Anyway, excuse me again. Actually, dude, I just want to do the ES one because it's got more volume on it. Okay. So a little bit more context. So you have this breakout. So I'm seeing this as a local accumulation within a larger distribution, okay? So don't get me wrong here. I do still see this as distributive structure here, okay? I'm seeing this as a cumulative structure locally. Still, bigger picture, it's going to play out as a distribution, in my opinion, at this stage. That's my current opinion, okay? If you zoom in right now, and I'm expecting futures to be red by the time the CPI report comes out, and I really hope that futures actually gets to work here, and you start to see some red relatively soon. I just moved a trend line. Hoping that you see some red relatively soon because I want to clear out this distribution. You obviously have a distributive structure here. I want it to play out before the report comes out, right? And you have plenty of time. Just now, I was way down here. Totally reasonable for that to occur. And that was still tonight, right? That was just a few hours from now. So you certainly have enough time. I want futures to be probably down 0.3, 0.4%-ish by the time the report comes. And then I'm expecting it to play out like a retest of this downtrend here, okay? I don't want it to be way up here. I don't want that to happen. Because if that happens, then the insinuation is that there was distribution throughout the night, and then the report is probably bad. Because somebody always knows, okay? Make of that whatever. Somebody knows, okay? There's a whale that's trading this, and he knows exactly what is about to occur, okay? That's reality. So, so anyway, what I'm looking for is this move down here, right? Wait, let me make sure that the timing is right on this. I just saw relatively good timing. Way back here? Okay. It has been eating 0.5, so that actually would work out pretty good. Let's do 0.5. So 5 in the morning, Central. I want to be around 39.97, and then I want to see this start to occur here. Okay, like a little bit of swooping, like a cumulative sort of structure, and then boom. Okay, that's what I think is going to happen. Now, what does that mean for the larger structure? Like, okay, so let me just clarify what's going on. Okay, this is an accumulation. This is a clear sign of strength within this local range. Okay, the highest volume that has occurred within this range was on that rally. You broke a new level on high volume. Now you need to come back, have a backup, retest the liquidity of the local accumulation, and then press up. Okay, what are my price targets? What are my price targets? I guess we can pull price targets on SPY. You guys get it. So price targets, I gotta say, so remember, we do have the FOMC still, right? So here is probably what the chart will look like ish. You round out, and then boom. That's probably not fast enough because we're on the 1 hour. Let's go to a lower time frame. 15-minute should do. So boom, move down, round out, and then boom. I'm looking for like 405. 404, 404, 450, up to 406-ish. You could see that. Just depends on if they want it to retest the downtrend at that point. I'm not 100% sure that is what's going to locally happen. They could make people think that's what's going to occur, and then they'll sell off before then just to trap a bunch of bulls. Because it's definitely something that bulls will be looking at that line like, oh, I can't wait to sell at that line, right? So they kind of front run it. I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. And this could be over the course of the next few days. I'm not talking about necessarily tomorrow. You could see that move occur on Wednesday as well. So then, there is a potential too that CPI could be bearish, like kind of bearish, not that bad. You run down here to 395 again, hit this apex, and then you round out. Well, obviously it wouldn't look like that, but basically here, right? And FOMC is bullish, but not bullish enough. Then Powell kind of ruins it at the end. He says some negative stuff or whatever. You round out. People have some hope here, and then you get crushed. That's sort of the outcome that I'm projecting. Okay, so either double bull, but I have enough time in my contracts. Okay, that's the thing. I'm fine. I am convicted that this move is going to occur. If it doesn't occur and I lose whatever's in the trade, I'm swinging into these major events. I've talked about this on the channel a million times. I'm not swinging something into one of these events that I'm not willing to lose. That's just not, because it could literally go to zero. What CPI comes out tomorrow, it could be, you could say, oh, it's 9% or something, and the market just goes to hell. Why would I have no control. Why would I swing puts? Why would I swing calls that I'm not willing to see go to zero? Okay, don't do that. And then also, I don't want to swing. I don't want to straddle or hedge or anything like that because Ivy is so pumped. The responsible thing, in my opinion, the best thing for me to do, and everybody's different. I just want to pick one side, have appropriate size. That's why I resized at the end of the day. So where I'm like, if I lose it all, lose it all. It's cool. Failure, whatever, right? If I'm going to tell you now, if CPI is bad tomorrow and we hold this trend again as support, I'm most likely, once I see a little strength on this trend line, I'm most likely adding calls in preparation for FOMC. Because I totally see that fake out occurring. It makes a lot of sense in this chart, okay? So I'm planned out. I'm resilient. I'm not going to get scared or whatever. I have appropriate size, so I'm willing to see it go down 50%, 70%, whatever, and add to build out a base for a position, and then at that point, maybe I'll be larger, and then I'll have a stop below the trend line. That'll be it, right? So I have a max loss. So I know, like, I'm not going to lose more than this. That's it. That's pretty much my logic, okay? Bigger picture. I do want to say here, guys, you know, this setup is good. I mean, you know, you came back here, right? You've retested the top of this liquidity range already within this distribution. This totally could just be a backup, last point of support, right? That plays out as the final step of an accumulation, right? And then you have a sign of strength above the trading range here, right? What does that mean? What's the number on that? So you break through the 430, which was the previous top. Totally possible. I mean, the chart does look like that's what it wants to do. I like on the macro scale, right? Like when I zoom into this local run here, I don't think that. But when I look at this, you know, basically like this range, I'm like, I mean, this range does look like it wants to break up, right? But you just have to be careful with that because they can continue the accumulation. Because you know this range has a pretty similar look to it as well, right? You have like your sell climax, your sell test in phase B, spring, last point of support, last point of support, last point of support, sign of strength, and then ultimately you got rejected, right? So I mean, it's, you know, it's not all pre-planned like 100%. It is reactionary by institutions, but at the end of the day, they kind of know it's going to happen, right? Just put it that way. But yeah, so I'd say that's the video. I've talked enough. I feel like I've said the same things over and over again enough times so that maybe, you know, you guys picked up some understanding of what I'm attempting to do here. Again, I'm fine if CPI is bearish. I'm fine. I'll be looking for that long opportunity down at that support trend again. And then I will be bearish if you break the support trend. So that is the video, ladies and gentlemen. Futures has just turned red. That's good news for us. That's what we want. But again, I don't necessarily really care, because at the end of the day, it's still, like, even if it's bad, as long as it stays above the support trend, especially if it stays above the support trend after that, I think that's a really good sign that, like, most likely you're going to have this push up to, like, the mid 400, and then we'll see where we're at from there. Okay? All right. Have a good night. Good luck. Don't be crazy risky or anything like that. This is insane environment. Like one of the craziest setups combined with events or whatever that I've seen. I mean, it's just crazy how the chart is at this super crucial moment, and then you have all these events like falling back to back and stuff like that. Definitely not an accident. But yeah, so that's pretty much it, and until next time. Oh, by the way, I do want to say too that like super macro, right? So you pull the fib from here, like totally a possibility, okay? Right? Both of these reports come out bad, right? You find support here, you fail, okay? This is totally a possibility that you have a disgusting bear market as a result of all of this. It could even happen after we have this pop, okay? I'm expecting the pop, but it's not guaranteed, okay? So act accordingly, all right? Have a good night.